Hello everyone, welcome to the Brazilian Grand Prix round 21 of this season, and well, just 3 more rounds to go of what is the longest season in ALR Gold history. My goodness gracious me. Let's go through the drivers and the constructors before we start to get into the juicy aspects of this Grand Prix. I cannot wait then. And also, I'm a very sleepy ginger as well. So I don't think the early races, the early morning wake-ups does not help me whatsoever. Right, the championship looks like this then. Sam Swift Ninja won the championship last time. It was such a great championship, but sadly Percy has had to bow out, which means that the championship was basically won in Mexico, really, wasn't it? And it's such a shame because I think that this championship would have gone right down to the wire. Second position, Menace Max, 336 points back, and 76 points away from third position, Immortal then. But Immortal is going to have to, he's safe at the moment, but Brabant only 34 points away in fourth position, with Toy Coin in fifth, and sixth position is Troy. Kaza in seventh position, only 13 points away. We've got an almighty scrap, haven't we, for the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh there. Immortal, if he can get some decent points again today, then that would take him out of that gap, out of that battle. Indigo's the man in absolutely rich run of form at the moment, though, up into eighth in the championship now. Is Indigo, with Cars in 9th position and Equals breaking him to top 10. Young Lights getting a full-time seat last time out in the Aston Martin, and then he's gone MIA. Great stuff indeed, which means that the first time this season Aston Martin have actually fielded a reserve driver, and we like to welcome in debutant for gold then Medranov in the Aston Martin. So the first time this season Aston Martin have got a reserve driver, so good stuff from Aston Martin up until now. We got Markey in 12th position, had good results from Markey. Then Cam on 31, 27 points for Coop, 25 for Legends, 24 for Knowlesy, 23 for Chappers, and 22 for Delando. The battle to beat the drop into silver is very much heating up. In the drop zone at the moment is Delando. Boxtow, which I think is infallible, could potentially be driving in silver next season. And Mr. Raging Bull, again, not here, so I think that Mr. Raging Bull has kind of accepted his fate to be going into silver by the looks of things. Which is unfortunate indeed there, but I think that Mr. Raging Bull might actually enjoy silver next season, hopefully. Good. Good Constructors Championship. Williams have 39 points in front of Aston Martin. Aston Martin have only one driver eligible to score because of the reserve rule this season, which means that Williams could take a humongous step forward with just 2 rounds to go of clinching the championship 3 rounds to go, isn't it? Clinching the championship in Las Vegas in a week's time. Ferrari in third position now on 159 points. Mercedes on 201 points. Only 24 points away from Ferrari. Mercedes, like Indigo, is the team in form at the moment. So Mercedes, I think, have got Ferrari very much in their sights. So clinching that third position, which would be a great result. Haas have been struggling out there the last couple of races or so, but they're on 173, 28 points away from the Mercedes team, but they're 24 points in front of the RB team. RB have got Equals, but I'm not sure if they've got their second driver tonight. We'll have a look in a minute. Alpine in 7th position, and they've also been on a rich run of form as well. Knowles has started to score some big points, and Brabant's been consistent this season, so they're only 10 points away from the RB. It's got quite a good fight going on here, haven't we, for the constructors, which is very good stuff indeed. Very good stuff indeed then. Then we got Kick Sauber, or the Sauber team on 104 points, 35 points away from the Alpine. They're going to need a big swing, but unfortunately with only one driver scoring, albeit that driver has got a lot of talent in the form marquee, they may struggle with that. McLaren, after a horror show start to the season, they are now not bottom. They're on 53 points, but Red Bull, they have only one driver in most of the season. They're in 10th position, which is why they are so low down the order, unfortunately. And then the Joint Constructors Championship looks like this. I've lost my sheet. Where's my sheet? No, there's my sheet. And the Joint Constructors Championship looks like this as Ferrari leads the way. They're on 74 points, and this is the closest Joint Constructors we have had in ALR history, I believe. Brilliant stuff indeed then. Of course, they are 74 points in front of the Alpine team, but they're only 4 points in front of Aston Martin. Alpine and Aston Martin have been swapping positions since the basic. Have been swapping positions there, haven't they? Over the past couple of weeks, it's been a great battle for the Joint Constructors. Mercedes 20 points away in in 4th position, and then Mercedes been also, as we mentioned, they are the big movers and shakers, and then for the Mercedes team, so they're in 4th and 1. And Williams are in 5th, 19 points back at the moment there. But then we've got RB in 6th, 108 points in front of the Haas team, 109 points in front of the Haas, I should say. And then we've got Red Bull on 274, 272 for Kick Sauber, and McLaren, a horror show of a season as a whole in gold, silver, and bronze. I think that this is probably one of the worst and lowest scoring joint constructors tallies we're going to ever have, Ben, which is pretty disappointing indeed then, to say at least that. However, I'm very happy to say that I've done all the jazz and shebang before we've even got going in the lobby. So that's fantastic stuff indeed. Really good stuff. Oh, we've got some comments going on, have we? Fantastic. Rocco, come on, Chopper said. We've also got Evening Show for Serious Mushroom, Evening Show Double Bubble. Oh, goodness me, or is it Double Trouble? No rain either in qualified at the moment there, but Brazil, as we've had so often in the past, seems to always have weather for rolling in, don't we? Over yonder, usually at the exit of the centre S, don't we? My boy Coop is going to cook tonight, and he'll score so much needed points. Said Coop, of course, as just mentioned. Then Coop is in a very solid 14th position in the Drivers' Championship, and of course, Coop will also be. I think he'll be flying the flag solo tonight for the Aston Martin team, sadly. As is Percy back in the Aston Martin? So Percy, well, technically, Percy could still win the championship if he was brought back in. Now, that would be a mess, wouldn't it? Goodness me. But Percy is driving in the Aston Martin. But he's not eligible to score for Aston Martin, sadly, because unfortunately he gave up his role, which is very disappointing, really, isn't it? That makes me even more sad, actually, than what I was in Mexico. Out on circuit at the moment, then, is Indigo. We're going to ignore Indigo for now, no disrespect to Indigo, but it's intermediate tyres on a dry circuit, which really bothers the hell out of me. Why? I don't know, to be fair, but it kind of just takes the mick, in my opinion. Of course, but there we go. But I suppose it is saving tyres, isn't it? And all that kind of jazz. But what's the point in going out there if you're not going to put in a representative time? As you can tell, an early morning Sean or an earlier morning Ginger Age is not a happy Ginger Age. It's not a happy Ginger Age, I must say. To be honest, this is why I'm not really keen on having gold races on Sunday anymore. Right. Anyway, you're going with Serious Mushroom. Percy, going to mess your spreadsheet up, Sean. Well, Percy's in the reserve role now, so it is. But I'm actually quite disappointed, to be fair. I love seeing Percy race, but if he was just going to miss one race, then I don't know. We had such a great championship fight as well, and I think that's why I'm a little depressed about this now. Anyway, enough about that. Let's just move on, shall we? Right then, it's so Brazil, a fantastic race circuit, isn't it? Indeed, that last year's pole position was of course for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We've had 10 races in Sao Paulo. This is the 11th Grand Prix. We have never had Sao Paulo. It's always been on the Formula 1 calendar in ALR Formula 1, which is fantastic indeed. So this is the 11th round of Sao Paulo, as we got Coop as in Soup then, who is flying the flag solo for Aston Martin tonight. Williams can take a major step forward there with Aston Martin, with Young Lights not participating in the Grand Prix. Just watching Coop then coming up into the midfield as well at this Grand Prix. But last season's pole position was actually set by a one-time pole specialist, Nathan JB, who I think only raced a handful of races in his career. Of course, I think Sao Paulo also had another one-time pole sitter from the season before, which is Cam, actually. I think that's Cam's one and only pole position in ALR Formula 1, as they come down into Magulio, the dive, before coming up into Young Sao. And of course, this is a very important part of the circuit, because now you're at full acceleration going right up into the center S there. So Coop then is going to take us around the Carlos Pache circuit. I think that's what it is anyway, though. All I know is it's Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Of course, we can't say the Brazilian Grand Prix anymore because of all the government stuff and all that kind of jazz. Same with Mexico. It's not the Mexican Grand Prix anymore. It's now Mexico City Grand Prix. Coop then coming down coming down the Retro Aposta, I think it is. And of course, DRS down the Retro Aposta, and of course, a run up into the start finish straight as well. Purple in the first sector. 2 likes from me. You're welcome. Thank you very much, Mushroom, which means we should be on 7. Fantastic. Also, 6 subscribers away from the magical 650, which is superb stuff indeed. There, as we now into the pine tree, I think it is, and as now coming into the duck build. Well, I think it is anyway. And now coming into Magulio to die. But well, Fernando Alonso did have a bit of a crash, didn't he? Talking of crashes, there's a yellow flag out there for one of the Aston Martin side. I think it's Percy going to give his former teammate and current teammate as well a bit of a what? A bit of a toe. I was going to say tug. That's not good, is it? A bit of a toe coming up the hill and over the grid. Hatchins then to start a lap then for Coop, and Cooper's gone fast. So the only representative timer on the board so far, as Percy's now going to start his lap as well. On board with Percy, just as he coming down into turn 3, which is quite a precarious turn, wasn't it, back in 2003? Of course, if anyone remembers that incredible race out, which was won by a new winner actually in Formula 1 at that stage there. Of course, it was the last win for a constructor and a first win for a driver. It was the last win for Jordan as a constructor. Of course, they were powered by Ford engines back in that day. And talking to Ford, they'll be returning back as a technical partner or something like that to the Red Bull powertrains, which is exciting to see. And then Giancarlo Fisichella won his first Grand Prix as well. Also, and Serious Rush is going to love this, Andretti, well, maybe not Andretti, but the 11th team might be awarded into Formula 1. I am beside myself. That is fantastic indeed. And it just goes to show that there's obviously a personal vendetta as Percy goes 7th on a 077 now. It's a personal vendetta against Michael Andretti then. To be honest, you shouldn't really run a sport on personal opinions and all that kind of stuff. I do admit, though, that Michael Andretti probably didn't go about it in the best way possible, because apparently he was in there like a ball in a china shop, wasn't he? He was very much in like really stamping his authority and all that kind of stuff. However, what Michael Andretti was bringing to the fold was Cadillac, General Motors, a massive manufacturer in Formula 1. And to have that turned down, I think, was very short-sighted, to be honest. But it's great to see that potentially we could be getting that 11th team, which, to be fair, I think that we need 12 teams on the grid on Formula 1, personally. I think that 10 teams is too much. But however, I'm counting my chickens, getting too ahead of myself and all that kind of jazz. But 11th team is one. I think that they potentially could be Cadillac Racing rather than Andretti. Of course, Michael Andretti has stepped back, hasn't he, from the day-to-day run-ins of the company, which is probably... And also, is it Greg Laffy or whatever his name is? Of course, the guy that has got a problem with Michael Andretti as well, by the sounds of things, as he was quoted to say, by the way, I don't know if it's true or not, but he was quoted by saying that as long as he's around or something like that, Michael Andretti will never have a Formula 1 team or something like that. Well, he's stepping back as well, isn't there? A lot of personal vendettas and all that kind of stuff, really, for the 11th team, to be fair. And yes, I'm overjoyed at that, so it's great to see Cadillac Racing potentially. By the way, it hasn't all been signed, still and delivered just yet, but it's great to see, and it's great to have an 11th team in Formula 1. And maybe Colton Herter might be coming into F1 finally as well, after all that business about that lacking super license points when he was trying to be into the AlphaTauri a couple of seasons ago as well. Maybe Valtteri Bottas might have a chance of getting back in as well, of course, as he is now not been confirmed at the Audi, the Sauber team for next season, which is eventually going to become the Audi then. Lego Gold then, it says Knowles then, it's going to be 6 tonight unless there's a wet setup there. Andretti says Serious Mushroom and Mushroom. Cadillac, that's a disease you... Oh my gosh, you mean Cadillac then. The 11th team is going to be... gosh, all these words tonight. Hang on a minute. Troy's gone fastest there. Nameless has gone fourth fastest there. Of course, a Grand Prix winner in silver. Now, I think it was the latest Grand Prix winner in silver as well, actually. The latest, newest Grand Prix winner in silver was Nameless. So good stuff indeed there. From Nameless's point of view, Immortal doing a great job. Marky in the infield then. We've also got two Red Bulls slipstreaming each other then, but we're just watching Marky as Medranov has gone up into third fastest, making their debut tonight. Medranov has been in bronze and silver, and now tonight is in gold as well. So good stuff indeed, Marky powering up the hill. Only freewheel saves tyre costs and rubber. As a kick, was it Relayum Robin? I can't pronounce it. Hello, short evening auto racers. Good evening, Skew Camera Racer. Kick, carb, Cash App, Visa. That would be nice. That would be as well. Don't get me wrong, of course. Red Bull was asked by the minority team. Look at all the traffic there. I've been talking about this new team, and I haven't actually even spoke about what's going on in the circuit. I'm so excited about the 11th team joining. Now we've got to push for a 12th team now, shouldn't we? But there we go. Maybe I'm getting too far ahead of myself, and I've lost my sound thing, which isn't good. But Mortal, that is very good indeed then. An 0.75, and for the Mercedes, up into provisional fastest. Chappers there, as Troy's retired from the session. There's Chappers coming out of Yungkal, the junction, as now powering up there as well. You got a lot of yellow flags around here. I don't think there's any safety cars at all when we raced around here at 100% on Wednesday, which is sad for me, as I was trying to roll the dice on my one-stop strategy, which I'm beginning to think with Legends will be a great time in fourth position mode. There's Keza breaking a bit of his diffuser there. That's not ideal. Here's Pease and the McLaren. No Delando here tonight then, so falling further and further into the drop zone there for Delando, but I'm wondering if Delando might be a bit more happier in silver for next season. 52-0 then in Young Calvin. Not saying that Delando doesn't flourish in gold, then I think he's just not been able to get a hand on these cars, to be fair, because when Delando debuted, when Delando did a few gold races in the past as a reserve driver, he was comfortably a midfield to a top 10 runner, was Delando, the former bronze champion, but unfortunately just hasn't got to grips with these 2024 machines there. Pease is in front of Boxstyle by 0.03 of a second so far. Good stuff indeed then. We're just watching Brabbit, who's invalidated their time. I should know something about track limits, as I got about 15 seconds of penalties on Wednesday, but I blame Farf as he was coaching me. So to be fair to the Visa Cash App Kick Sauber slash Alpha Tower slash Toro Rosso slash Minority, the name's rubbish, or the RB, the name of RB's rubbish, albeit I don't mind Racing Bull next season. That sounds better than RB. I don't understand why they've called themselves RB, I really don't, because I'm sure that they're even called Racing Bulls in Italy, but there we go. As that Brabbit now coming down the Retro Aposta, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't like this shared ownership business, because I don't like it in football either. With Man City have got all this like City group where they have all kinds of other clubs associated with them and all that kind of stuff. I prefer, obviously, in the world of football. Look at that Ferrari right in the way there of Brabbit, and sadly Kaz there might get a bit of a slap on the wrist there from the stewards on that one, because that has really hamstrung Brabbit with just 6 minutes to go in this qualifying session there. Brabbit does look like he may have enough fuel for another time run, but maybe he may not have the grip on those soft tyres. And the soft tyres there, I gotta say, very much will resemble chewing gum or bubble gum after a couple of quick laps around here. Legends has gone fastest, and that's a great time for Legends there. Very much in the thick of things here tonight, Legends. It's good stuff. Indigo right down in 18th position there, but Indigo has not set a competitive time just yet, but now he is. I'm 10th fastest for Indigo, who is in a rich run of form in Mexico. I've missed Menace, but Menace is now in 8th position. Here's Cam. But Cam looks like he's had issues there. Sam Swift Ninja has not set a time either. Of course, the first ever double world champion in ALR on 2 different games out of 2023 and 2024. The third ever double world champion in ALR Gold history is Sam Swift Ninja. Of course, he's got a long way to go to equal or break the records, which is currently held by Emerson, with Percy and Troy second and third in the all-time records for the most winningest driver and all that kind of jazz. Into the pits comes Cam, then abandoning their time. Sam Swift and Ninja, then here is the world champion, then going into the center as well. Double world champion now has joined the likes of Emerson and Granty. Of course, Granty drove the Williams in season 3 when he was, of course, champion. And Williams think if they win the constructors this year, will equal three constructors championships, which of course has been held by Renault since season 5, because Renault were dominating when they was in the ALR Formula 1 world before they became the Alpine team, as Sam Swift Ninja locking up the inside front tyre again there. Love helmet design as well, by the way, Sam Swift. Beautiful stuff indeed. I've forgotten what I was mentioning about RB, but yeah, nonetheless, I don't like shared ownership. However, I don't think it's a right thing to for Red Bull to sell it, because they saved from having to go for a free car team back in 2005 or 6, I think it was, which it'd be interesting, but I'm not sure if it would have been very good I don't think it would have been very good from a competitive standpoint. Coming across the line, Sam Swift Ninja, only 13th fastest there for the champion. Interesting stuff there. We'll see how that one plays out. As Metronov then is going for another bite to the cherry now. Toy Coin not in this one there, so unfortunately for Toy Coin, is probably going to struggle in that battle for 5th or 4th in the Constructor Championship as the RB tackles turn 1 then. A week late, but congratulations to Sam Swift Ninja on the title. Let's have a boom basket Brazilian Grand Prix one. Chip Ganassi Racing, says Cirrus Mushroom. Or Penske Racing as well. Is Serious Mushroom answering a question I asked there, potentially, or maybe he's just throwing in some team named ideas. I'd like to see Penske in Formula 1. I'm sure Penske was in Formula 1 in the 60s or 50s or 70s potentially. I need to do a bit more homework on the Grand Prix scene in the early stages of the Formula 1 history, and I've got to take my jumper off again. Good evening all. Hello to you, Asher John. Great to have you along then for the ride then. Of course, Cirrus Mushroom also confirmed that he's getting after a big old surgery there for Cirrus Mushroom, and he's still racing a week or 2 later then. Into the pits now comes Metronov, who's had I think that he was just on a, not sure if he was on a quick lap or not there, whilst I've been waffling away. Thank you very much to everyone that's given the stream a like. I appreciate that wholeheartedly. And of course, everyone has watched Las Vegas. Let's not, I've got 2 minutes to talk about the brilliance of Max Verstappen. Across the line there goes Marky, who goes 14th fastest there. Hats off, by the way, to Max Verstappen, 4-time world champion, and isn't it? To be fair, it might have been almost confirmed after Brazil, but I think after that Brazilian race, what a drive there for Max Verstappen. And to be honest, Max Verstappen has been the difference in that Red Bull. Sergio Perez is not a bad driver, not by any stretch of the imagination. Remember what he's done with that Racing Point, with the Force India over the years there for Perez. Remember how great he was when he first came into Formula 1 with the Sauber team. So yeah, maybe you lose a couple of tenths here and there as the order. You get Sam Swift goes 5th fastest in the Williams. Great stuff indeed. So, but I do not believe Petrov as bad as what the car has shown him. But I do think that Max Verstappen is a once in a lifetime talent. Even though that's completely wrong, because then that means that, because I also say once in a lifetime talent is the likes of Lewis Hamilton, Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, Alain Prost, so on then. And of course, all of them have got different driving styles as well. It's of course Ayrton Senna, they're very aggressive. Well, it's Senna and Mansell, very different drivers. They love to throw the cars around, didn't they? I don't think that driving style will work today. Then that driving style is mainly for like active suspension, and when all the gizmos and gadgets was on the Formula 1 cars back in the early 90s. Then, of course, one of the most advanced ever F1 cars was the 1993 Williams. Here comes Coupe 18th fastest. That is not enough to get him out of qualifying, sadly. And I think the Coupe, as in the Super, might be out of qualifying here. Percy did try to give him a tow up the hill, but that was not a help at all. Cam into the pitch. Checker flag has fallen. Metronov cannot improve, nor can Cam, and Coupe might be able to improve. And here comes Nameless, 2 tenths a second up there, cutting the pit in lane there, but but as we seen today, Nameless goes 15 fastest. As we seen today for Carlos Sainz, that doesn't matter. There's a car off the circuit. That's Marky out of qualifying, sadly. Nameless has got through at the expense of his teammate. That's not ideal. Brabant, the former silver champion, is also in peril here with the drop zone. Coming over the grid hatch as well. Knowlesy's gone to a superb ninth. Brabant's in 15th. That's 2 kicks Alberts out of qualifying here. What about Pease? Pease is through. Pease has knocked Brabant out as well. So Pease in 15th position there. And my goodness me, Coop is finished. So is Marky as well. We know our driver's out of qualifying here, sadly. And there are some big names that is out of qualifying here. Goodness gracious me. Good evening to you, Boxed Out. Penske made an F1 chassis, I believe, but not a team, says Serious Russian. Early 70s, they had a team. When did, Penske did have an F1 team, did they? Or was that they made a chassis in the early 70s? I need to, as I said, I'm pretty shocking with the 70s F1 stuff. Oh, I'm out of breath. Goodness gracious me. Oh, my goodness. Probably too much Monster, to be fair. With Andretti! So it's a serious special as well. Sadly, that we have lost 5 drivers in this qualifying session, but that is the aim of the game in qualifying one. Legends fastest there. We haven't really spoke too much about Legends, but that's a great time indeed. Cameron's on pole position back in season 9 here in Brazil. I think it's one and only pole position of his career. Down in 20th on this day in history there for Cam, so that's unfortunate as well. Coop as in soup. Equals with a crying cat emoji there, unfortunately, for Coop, who's out of qualifying. Knowlesy to a superb 10th, and Knowlesy's really turned on the style as of late. Look at this, 6/10 of a second separates first to 20th. That is just over half a second. My word, and the top 15 is covered by 2/10 of a second. That is ridiculous times indeed. Then, as Pease has put, bruv, I'm a bum in the comments there. Obviously, I'm not going to repeat what P said there. However, Cam, Coop, Marky, Nameless, and Brabant all out of qualifying one as we roll on into qualifying 2. Yeah, the other team, I googled it, Penske Andretti. And that funny? I would never thought that would be the kind of thing, especially if you watch IndyCar now. That's incredible, isn't it? I did watch, by the way. I'm really interested in like early 90s at the moment F1 with mainly because I've been playing F1 Challenge because I'm a nerd. Not a smart nerd, not a smart nerd, but a nerd that's just nerdy. Of course, I've been playing Formula 1 Challenge, and Lamborghini didn't have a team as such, but they had an engine. Of course, that meant to be. There was rumours about McLaren being powered by Lamborghini in '93, wasn't it, or something like that? Of course, when Honda announced their exit, the more things change, the more they stay the same in Formula 1, don't they? Honda seems to always announce an exit in Formula 1, don't they? But there's a P's coming out of qualifying as well. I said, well, P says he's bum, but having said that, by the way, he did not say bum, he said the other word, but of course, we've got to keep our profanity to a minimum here in ALR, because of course, we are all going to be fit and proper. I am not fit, and I'm not proper either, but I try to be. 14 minutes to go in this qualifying session. We've got a queue of cars out there, and I assume that Mushroom, if I assume rightly, Mushroom, everyone on it used tyres potentially. But anyway, yes, Lamborghini did have a Formula 1 team in 1992, but they weren't called Lamborghini. Oh my goodness me, what has happened there? As a 5-place grid penalty for Immortal as him, and there's damage. There's damage to Immortal's car. He's got a 5-place grid penalty. The man has been on pole position 11 times, I think, in his ALR career. Oh, my word there. And there's all kinds of shenanigans going on here between Kaz and Immortal. And I think there's a lot of frustration here for Immortal because I think Immortal might have fancied himself for pole position today. But that is not ideal at all, is it now? Immortal back in the pit lane now then, so that is disappointing indeed then. To be honest, I think that it's a shame that I would love to, I think that I love ALR to do like similar to what the race does on YouTube and stuff like that, where they have like lists of 10 best looking F1 cars, 10 of the worst F1 teams and all that kind of stuff, but sadly, none of the admins have got time to do it. But if you want to be a content creator and want to use ALR as a platform, Be our guest. As we just watched Troy coming to the mid section as well. Rain oh goodness me, Equals raided on my parade, literally and figuratively, because rain is very soon. That's why I had a sea of cars come out on circuit. We did say that the rain does bubble up quite quickly around here because we are in Interlagos. It literally means between the lakes. So we might even have a lake on the circle as well if rain's able to go by. John Watson drove the car apparently. Some will go use Cirrus Michelin in terms of tyres, and John Watson drove the Andretti Penske team, which is pretty cool indeed. Of course, new teams potentially, Cadillac would be in F1 for F1 2026, which means that if ALR is still running, then I'll be very excited to see who gets that car in our Season 13 driver draw. Season 13, I think it's going to be Season 15, isn't it? Indigo goes fast as ours. The times are really tumbling like a fruit machine here, of course, and that's quite apt because next week we are in Las Vegas, the only second time the ALR will be visiting Sin City, so looking forward to that then, and it can be a wild race there. I got to say, this morning's race wasn't that wild, was it? There, but it was still good enough to get up there. I watched Max Verstappen be crowned a 4-time world champion there. But yeah, Max Verstappen, is this his best championship of his career? The most impressive, obviously, is 2023 because he was in incredible form, wasn't he? He was just in a league of his own there, wasn't he, in 2023? But this one was different, wasn't it? 2024 there. He could be the first world champion that could be the first world champion that could be crowned with the constructor finishing third or lower since is it Nelson Piquet in 1983? Some reason Keke Rosberg is ringing a bell as well, but 82 is a horror show of a season, wasn't it? A lot of people talk about 94, but 82 is a bit horrific as well, with, of course, Didier Pironi having that awful shunt then, and Gilles Villeneuve, of course, one of the potentially all-time greats that we lost way too soon then in the Ferrari. That, of course, Pironi and Villeneuve had a bit of a scuffle, didn't they, after the San Marino Grand Prix, where team orders wasn't... something about team orders and talking to team orders. Charles Leclerc and Sainz also. Well, Charles Leclerc was at a very hot-headed radio at the end of Las Vegas, didn't he? So not ideal at all there. Do you have to get up for 6 for Vegas, says Real Ashton. To be honest, if that is the case, Real Ashton, I may miss it because I must admit I'm absolutely shattered then. As for some reason, I woke up at 2 o'clock this morning and I powered my way through until about 8 before I fell asleep. Here comes a Mortal then across the line then and going at 7 fastest there on is that a set of new soft tyres potentially? We just seen Legends go 10 faster. Legends, of course, was quickest in the opening qualifying session there. Now only 10th at the moment there, but 9 minutes ago in this qualifying session now, as we fly through as well. So it's wishing best. Do you remember Timo Glock then? Of course, is that Glock? The famous line there that Martin Brundle uttered in the 2008 Brazilian Grand Prix. Of course, I liked Glock. I thought he was a really good driver, to be fair. Sadly, with the economy and all that kind of stuff, Timo Glock kind of ended up in the Virgin team, didn't he, in 2010 and 11 and 12. Of course, Virgin, as Menace goes second fastest, of course, Virgin only decided to build a car which did not have a big enough fuel tank to complete the races there. So there we go. Good stuff indeed. Of course, Timo Glock actually debuted in Formula 1 in 2004, didn't he? When he, I think he got a point, didn't he, on his debut? Or was that the second couple of races after in Canada? I think he was replacing Giorgio Pantano, wasn't he, in that season? Of course, that was sadly where Jordan was in the mix of their demise of going downhill. Sadly, of course. Jordan was, which is such a shame, really, isn't it? Of course, great. Jordan was one of those old school teams, weren't they? Really, as Legends are just coming up the hill, but unfortunately, got no fuel there. We've got Itchy, a former, I'm sure, is Itchy a former Grand Prix winner? I think may have been then, or am I thinking of the other Williams driver that used to drive in silver many moons ago? But hello, Itchy, welcome to the stream. Then great to have you in for the ride. As into the pits comes Kaz. Nope, made that Legends there because I'm just watching Troy coming down. Loretta Apostolon. I'm going to look at Kaz for a minute, and he's not got much battery left in that Ferrari, has Kaz then, so I think the Kaz may struggle to complete this lap in a in a reasonable time. Now, of course, these Formula One cars are hybrid, aren't they? These days, since 2014. Goodness gracious me, that feels like a long time ago now. So F1 2024, this is like 10 seasons since that hybrid engine came in. But hopefully, we might be going back to normally aspirated engines in 2030 if they get carbon neutral fuel or something like that. I'm based out of my depth now, I don't really know what it is, but hopefully greener fuel and stuff like that. Yes, sir, Liz, one-time win in Abu Dhabi, as you said. Oh, goodness gracious me, I dug that right out of my rear. German's joined the session, but unfortunately, German's a bit late there. Of course, the former champion there, but Troy goes third fastest there. Good time for Troy. Don't think Kaz improved there, and sadly, Kaz is currently in the danger zone. Just watching Percy coming out of turn 3. Medronov is on 10th for a second up. Then P's taking too much curb in center S there, and that's that lap ruin. Then Kez has gone fastest by a 7-3 then, and here comes Medronov in 10th position there, looking very strong in gold. I'm looking very impressive indeed there for Medronov, albeit he completely missed the center S up, but he ain't gonna care because he's on a in lap now then, and here's Percy then in the second sector. Yeah, you beat me in Abu Dhabi because of squad, he says. Serious Russian. So, Serious Russian does not hold a grudge. So just got watching Percy down Magulio the dive. And 89 inches a second up in the second split time for Lucas Percy as well before powering up the hill then, as Kaz has got a 5-place grid penalty, so it's not Mortal's got a 5-place grid penalty. It's Kaz there as a very unhappy there because as Percy goes 6th fastest because of what Kaz has perceived then. Wrong for 5-place grid penalty there. Knowlesy has got a car in front of him, a Brabant. No, it isn't, sorry, it's a Haas. I don't know, I got the Haas and the Alpine confused there. Maybe I need to go to Specsavers. But a bit of a tow up the hill now from the Haas car, and I think that might be Keza then, who's potentially shared a bit of the love for those across the line, and Knowlesy only improves by a 10th for a second there, but it's not enough, as Equals 2/10 second up into Young Cow before powering up the hill, and of course on the exit of the junction is where Kimi Räikkönen of course made a detour in 2012, and before realising the gate was shut. That's what happens when you don't do a track walk. Equals only 12 faster, the only eligible RB driver to score constructors points tonight there, which by the way I am massively in favour of that rule change, because in the past you have seen a lot of constructors really benefiting from reserve drivers scoring points when the regular drivers have not been competed. Yes, but sadly though, it does hurt their teammates a lot, doesn't it? So maybe it's not fair on other drivers then who have been competing this season then. But it's just watching Peas and powering up the hill now. Oh goodness gracious me, I've lost a load of I have missed a load of comments and I apologise profusely. As P's into the pits now, 4 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Champers has moved up to 8th fastest there. Marky, evening gents, good evening to you. Good to see you guys going strong then. Well, I'm certainly not going strong, but ALR certainly is. I must admit, I'm not. I'm going to have to get a bit of night nurse on the go, I think. Maybe a bit of Cavonia. Wait, that's cough medicine with clout. Maybe not. As we got Indigo Sean, I took pole here last season. Another track I liked then. Yes, indeed, then Indigo did take pole position here last season. I apologise. I said that it was Nathan JB that took pole position last season. I completely wrong on that one. It was actually an Indigo that took pole position, whilst Nathan JB got the fastest up then. That's what I get for reading me columns wrong. Champers across the line to start another lap now. Immortal out on circuit 3900 a second, down in the first sector time there. Here comes Legend, 6 fastest a second up in the second time there for Legend. So look strong in qualifying 1, but qualifying 2 struggling there. Sean, have I ever been knocked out in Q1? Yes, you have, Marky, but I don't know how many times. I must admit, I don't do the stats for qualifying, because as much as I do love a stat, as Legends goes them fastest there, I'll be here all day. However, I know that Farflow's a good stat, and I know that Farf's always in the front of his laptop there, tapping away, and he's normally the man that gives me a lot of my information there. However, I do not believe some of the stats he says about himself. Indigo goes... no, I've got Indigo on the brain now. Immortal goes 7th fastest there in the Mercedes team. Then Chapper said, coming into Magulio, the dive. We've got a Ferrari just in front of us as well of Kaz, but Kaz is not on a quick lap. He's a second down. 2 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Make that 3 minutes. minutes to go in this qualifying session now. Equals is gifted a membership by Vintage. Vintage is gifted 5 memberships. Vintage, thank you very much. How do I put some love on that? Across the line goes Chappers in 5th position. And the Williams team, Sam Swift Ninja is in major peril here. Sam Swift Ninja, the coolest cucumber in the field. However, he might be too cool for school because he potentially could be out qualified here, especially if Peas, Knowlesy, Equals, Kaz, and Legends gets a good lap time in, and of course Metron up as well, that who's also on the cusp of potentially going through. But here's Peas now in the McLaren Mercedes coming down the Retro Aposta. So Paynes has got a that was the other driver I was thinking of. Paynes, that's ironic. Paynes there getting the membership. Same for Rocket League, Marky, Potstuff, and Brooksy. Thank you very much, Vintage. Evening, lads. Good evening to you, Vintage. Evening, Mushroom, mate, as well. So Vintage is basically paid for my for my lunch for the next 2 weeks. So fantastic. Thank you very much, Vintage. Brilliant stuff indeed. Of course, I just all the money that all the memberships, all that kind of stuff, I don't really understand most of it, but luckily I am not I'm not the social media manager. I think that is actually Luke, along with Knowlesy, I believe, is more social media stuff. 10th for a second up in the second sector now for Peas before accelerating away. But luckily they understand it more than me, so that's good stuff. I'm just a fool that talks, moans about the 11th team in Formula 1 that gets very excited about odd stuff. Peas, unfortunately, not going to get excited about that lap, though, because that lap is kept him in 15th position. Sam Swift Ninja may have pulled off a beautiful bit of a beautiful masterstroke here by calling it a day early on and saving a set of tyres and for later on in this qualifying session there. Splashing the cash, Mark is saying for Vintage there. Nosy Vintage go and evening, Mr. and Mrs. Mushroom then. Must have been a long time, Mark is saying. It was in your last stint in gold there a few seasons ago there. Nosy in 10th position there, but I feel that Nosy could be very much looking backwards here because he could potentially still be knocked out of qualified here. What about Equals in the middle part of the lap there, and I'm very bloated all of a sudden now. I think that I've had too much there for my own good today. That's the problem, getting up early, as I have breakfast. Is that rain? Yes, there's rain afoot here, and someone mentioned that there's rain. I think it was Equals, and Equals talking of the rain, and unfortunately might be caught short in the rain as well. Talking of rain, we've had an almighty shower, haven't we? As just on board now with Equals, and as coming up to the line, he's being towed along nicely by his teammate. Equals, their frustration, their damage to the car, and I don't think Laura Becky is going to be too happy with that. Percy's fast. It's a statement of intent for the Aston Martin driver. As Equals out, I think a lot of frustration there, out of qualifying, and unfortunately for Equals, Knowlesy might have been saved by the rain here, albeit I don't think anyone else. What about Kaz? Kaz is the only driver out there got a 5-place grid penalty. Kaz, I said, hoping that he might be able to get that eradicated here. I love that word. Goodness me, I might use that more often. Eradicated, then, as that's because I don't think he deserves that 5-place grid penalty. We did not see it on stream then, but I will take Kaz's word for it. Across the line, not enough either, and a 10th for a second down. Even a spluttering of rain has affected these drivers, and then sadly for the 5 of Metron, Alpha Legends, Kaz, Equals, and Peas, all out of qualifying here. Father's listen. So we've also got Sam just likes a challenge. He's done the hard work. Evening Favre's here said $14.95 per 5 memberships. Sean, goodness gracious me, that's a lot of money, Vintage. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Goodness me, I struggle to spend that much on a game these days. Immortal's also got a 5-place penalty as well, so it's a double. So Immortal and Kaz have both got 5-place grid penalties. So Kaz will drop 5 places on the grid if of course his plea to the stewards is not heard. So heard. Peas, Equals, Kaz, Legends, and Metrov all out qualified, which means that our famous top 10 is Piercy, Keza, Indigo, Boxstar, Troy, Chappers, Metis, Immortal, Sam Swift, and Knowlesy all through into qualifying for then. Good stuff indeed. That I hope you're healing well. Mushroom says Vintage. I'm a lot better, thanks, Vintage. Get it there, mate. That Serious Mushroom was saying there. Indeed, I'm glad that Serious Mushroom's healing well as well. Of course, as he helps with the setup, but sadly, Sadly, and doesn't help me with my strategy. As all we got a rain in qualifying three. Albeit, let's be honest, on Wednesday, I generally thought a one stopper would be quicker, but how wrong was I? I found like a stone in the end. I thought the soft tires would have gone absolutely nowhere. But never mind. I'm getting used to. I'm trying to get used to it, but I keep saying this, but in 100% or just in race in general, I feel that I'm okay on the opening like what 5-6 laps. There's a more to going on the intermediate tires. I'm okay on the 5 or 6 laps, opening 6 laps there, but I'm just astounded of how much consistency these drivers have because I cannot keep up with them and keep the consistency going for 20, for 30 laps. There's 36 laps tonight. I'm just absolutely astounded by it. They can hit their apex time after time after time. Whilst me in the Center S, I think I hit all kinds of different apexes. I think I was in Rio de Janeiro for one braking zone. But incredible because I think when I was sat behind, it was not sat behind. I think it was sick as muck for a few laps there. My goodness me, that man, it's hard to overtake. And then when you do overtake him, he just flies back past you. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with yours deployment, but I need to ask him politely. However, I would not give away my secrets, albeit I don't think secrets might get classes me as a threat, to be honest. But absolutely incredible of how much these drivers just hit the apex time after time after time. Superhuman from my point of view. Obviously, I'm not saying that when I'm in the race because usually I'm swearing and moaning and whining there because, of course, especially as I finished 12th or 11th, which is a bit of a bummer really because it's a shame that the points don't go down to like MotoGP style because I might have actually scored a bit more points this season. But having said that, Formula One, you really you should earn your points. Really, they shouldn't be handed out like sweeties, should they? Really? But having said that, then of course I do come from an older generation where the top 6 used to score in Formula One there way back when. But of course there used to be a lot more of an attrition rate as well as late 90s to late 90s. There used to be about over half the field that retired from the racer. Where am I? Potstuff, even Lord, and thanks, Vintage as well. Equal Scrap said. Great to hear Vintage is saying. Q3 for Alex says Far, but of course, Far from with a spatter next to his name there. Maybe he's nuts. So just watching Keza as well. As long as I chuckle, as long as I make myself chuckle, that's all that matters, isn't it? Right, let's get on with this, shall we? Goodness me, I'm talking about all kinds of nonsense. Let's get on with the qualifying show. And this is the most important part of qualifying here because with the rain spitting down, everyone is on slick tyres here. This is the best of the conditions. It could be first man across the line. Keza, can he get his first pole position of his career in the Haas team across the line? It is pole position. It's a 9 flat, but then it's Indigo who's gone fastest. Can he get 2 pole positions in the 2 consecutive seasons? Indigo's currently on pole position. Knowlesy's in front of Keza there. That's incredible. Menace in 4th position there. What about the Red Bull box now? He's in 5th with Champions in 6th position. Sam Smith Ninja across the line there. Sam Smith is 2nd there. What about Immortal then coming up to the line? Immortal's got a 5th-place group penalty. Immortal's only 3rd. Percy's only 3rd as well. It's Indigo's on pole position at this moment in time. And it could be a 2nd pole position in 2 seasons here for Indigo. And as it stands, if the rain gets worse, that'll be Indigo's 2nd pole position of his career in ALR Gold. Then I think he's had a couple pole positions elsewhere in 100% maybe, but Indigo is on pole position then for the Brazilian Grand Prix for 2 seasons in a row now for Indigo. Wow, that's a great time indeed. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff indeed. Nice to hear. Nice to hear getting better. Camera saying for Serious Rush with the dab there. Welcome to the Jensen tier. Vintage is saying that as we've also got Rocket League. Even though thank you, Vintage. Thank you for the gift subscription there. Great stuff indeed. Then as we just watching, they're all coming into the pits now. So that could be the end of qualifying. Sadly here then, as we expect the rain to get heavier and heavier. No one's going to beat Indigo now. Says Serious Rush. That could be Indigo's 2nd pole position, and he's only ever had pole position in Brazil, and make that 2 now for Indigo as the Red Bull mechanics are on the pits and the Mercedes mechanics are on the pits as well. Of course, we've got to see if we're going to have a lobby restart. A lobby restart then because of the 5-place grid penalties that we got for 2 drivers of Immortal and Kaz, but that remains to be seen because that's not been confirmed or denied yet. But Indigo, he could be on pole position for the second time in his career, and for the second time in Brazil as well. So fantastic stuff there from Indigo. If you joined us earlier on, then I did mention that it was Nathan JB that got pole position last season, but no, he got fastest up, not pole position there, as I read my columns a little too quickly there. And yes, indeed, that's shameful behaviour by me. How dare I feed wrongful information? I do not believe anything I say, and if I do say anything, make sure you fact check it as well. Fat, not fat. No, fat, not fat. Well, that's it for qualifying, as we may have a Red Bull coming out of the pits there. Is that Boxtel? It is Boxtel coming out of the pits. So Boxtel is rolling the dice there on another set of soft tyres. So Boxtel feels that... as way to go, Indigo says Vintage there. I'm going to be honest, Vintage, I was wondering what that abbreviation was then. I thought it was WTF, to be honest, when I first read it. So, as Astra John then, who's also thanking Vintage as well after Vintage there, gifted a lot of memberships, which is cool stuff indeed there. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to ALR, please do, because we're aiming to get to 560 before the end of the season. Ideally, I would... Or is it 660? It's 660, 650, I apologise. Yeah, for 650 by the end of the season, I would like to have got to 700, but I think that might be a stretch too far. However, I am quite a positive Pete, and also I potentially may just create some random YouTube accounts. I would never do that, I'll swear. So just watching Bucks now come down to Magulio and out into the... into Young Southern before accelerating waves. So we've got outlets for Troy, outlets for Knowlesy, and for Keza as well. Percy and Immortal are happy in the pit lane, and now we just got Boxtel taking a very wide line going over the start-finish straight. It's great to see Boxtel back in the top 10 of a Grand Prix, because I feel that Boxtel this season, this is his worst. Love the helmet, by the way. This is his worst season in terms of his worst season in terms of performance. I remember Boxtel at this stage last season was still in the championship hunt, and I think he just lost. No, I'm talking absolute baloney. Of course, there. I think we had a couple of rounds to go, didn't we? With Boxtel, he lost the lead to Sam Swift very late on in the championship, didn't we? Didn't Boxtel? And Boxtel as well. And back end is is just complaining there. It's not compliant for the Red Bull, and I think the Boxtel is going to have to abandon this. Then Boxtel just getting so wet. Practice is smart. There says Serious Mushroom, very smart indeed. More smarter than me, for example. I wouldn't have gone out there because I'll be too concerned about getting my hair wet. Boxtel 4/10 second down, yellow flag down the retro poster, and Boxtel off the circuit. Goodness me, that Red Bull swapped ends quite violently there, and it made me jump out of my skin. As Bill of Lawnmower for Boxtel gets on the power, but sadly for Boxtel, he's not going to improve his time or his position because it's a little too damp out there. A little too damp out there indeed. Knowlesy 2/10 second down in the first sector time. Second sector time just before Young Sao. A second down then. So yes, even this just sprinkling of the wet stuff. And look, just like Boxtel, albeit Knowlesy kept it on the island. Unfortunately, it's just not. There's too much moisture in the air, and unfortunately in the air and on the circuit. And unfortunately, these drivers happen to call it a day and not improving their times then as they're into the pits now. As everyone is out, all return back to pit. So Indigo pole position for the second time of his career, second time in Brazil as well. Really good stuff indeed there for Indigo, with Sam Swift on the front row as well. Sam Swift, the world champion. Sam Swift is out there for a bit of an exhibition tonight. Then of course wants to improve his win ratio, which is just below 50% now. I think he started like 30 odd Grand Prix and won 15 of them or something like that. Really impressive. Somebody will get the accurate stats said in just a minute. But Menace coming. I think the Menace will be back in the pit. He is indeed for the HP Ferrari team. HP, not HB. And of course, HP, not HP printers, not printers, HP and not HP source there, which is the first thing I thought of there. But of course, I'm a man with a lot of girth. Boxtel coming across the line. And let's go on board with Boxtel. Of course, cast your mind back to qualifying 2 and qualifying 1, and just think about how different it is now. The Boxtel is going to drive this. Oh my gosh, and he's in the wall. Don't cash your wines back anymore because Boxtel didn't do that in qualifying 1 or 2. And very reminiscent to a lot of incidents that happened there in the Brazilian qualifying earlier on this season. And also in 2000, for some reason I remember more accidents there in 2003 than I do in qualifying. That is quite worrying, isn't it? You think the Pizzonia was in there in 2003, Montoya was, Michael Schumacher was as well, Jensen, but I think that Jos Verstappen almost went in there and somehow saved it in the minority. Mark Webber saved it as well, but then he had a horrific shunt just after Young Sal, didn't he? Of course, a horrific shunt indeed. Boxtel damaged the car then, so a bit of a nose job then for the Red Bull team to complete before the start of the Grand Prix. Shouldn't be a problem there for Boxtel. Will it affect his confidence? I don't think so, because this is completely different conditions to what the race is going to be. So, and of course, Boxtel has been in this game for an experienced campaign. I've been in this game for quite a number of iterations of this game, of course. So nothing too worrying there for you Boxtel fans out there. It's all fine and dandy. Then it comes into the pits now. And that is the end of qualifying here. It kind of ended a bit prematurely, it sounds like me, to be honest. But in the pits there comes Boxtel, and that is it. That's done and dusted, and thank goodness for that, because I need to get my jumper off, because I am sweating profusely here tonight. But before I do so, let's just have a quick confirmation of the top 10. Indigo, pole position, number 2 of his career, and 2 in succession in Brazil. He's in a rich run of form, Indigo. He said, the sky's the limit. I keep asking him after the on the podium what his aims are. And goodness me, those aims could change to the top 3 potentially. Sam Swift alongside my room 1. Percy in 3rd position. Mortal 4th, but has a 5-place grid penalty. Troy and Menace 5th and 6th. Knowles in Boxer 7th and 8th. Keza and Chappers 9th and 10th. Once again, Chappers outstanding in qualifying, and we're going for a break. We'll be back very, very shortly.